drone industry as a whole is still a very much emerging technology. Only in the past several years has its use exploded onto the scene in the professional sector. Just a few years ago, the thoughts of law enforcement, firefighters, and search and rescue members using drones in daily operations was something out of science fiction. Now, they are everywhere. I even still consider myself new to the scene, as I've only been using drones for farming, firefighting, and search and rescue for the past couple of years. Even as I've come to be known as the drone guy in my own little local circles, and I've worked on this channel to let people know about the many uses of these tiny flying robots, I'm well aware that I stand upon the shoulders of giants in the industry. There are many drone pilots, researchers, and software and hardware engineers out there that I look up to immensely. And there's even more that I'm completely unaware of the fact that they even exist. One of the latter was a Mr. Romeo Durscher, who until a few days ago I had never even heard of. And unfortunately, I learned about Mr. Durscher by hearing of his unfortunate passing on March 3rd of this year, 2025. So today I'd like to share with you the story of Mr. Romeo Durscher, a true pioneer in the small unmanned aerial systems industry, a true leader in this emergent technology. Much of the information from this video comes from the SUAS news article, which will be in the description, along with all of the other links that I used to create this video. Born in Sweden on March 2nd, 1975, Mr. Durscher began his career in banking before working at Stanford University. He spent almost 13 years there and built his first multi-rotor drone while working as Stanford's senior manager at its Solar Dynamics Observatory, which partnered with NASA. During an interview with Drone Life, he had this to say: "In 2010, when I was still deeply involved in NASA missions, Mark Johnson and I began experimenting with a new kind of technology. Multi-rotors were practically unheard of, but we found components from all over and pieced together our own drones. I vividly remember the first time we flew one. For Mark, it was clear this could be a powerful tool for his forensic analysis business. For me, it unlocked something new, a fresh perspective from the air. Something about this new technology grabbed me. I knew it had a future beyond NASA, especially in public safety. The memory of my Swiss military service, wishing for a real-time aerial view, fueled my desire to bring drones to new spaces." In January of 2015, Mr. Durscher joined DJI as their Director of Education. In these days, the DJI Phantom was the latest and greatest technology. For those that don't know, the DJI Phantom is the poster child of all stock photos of drones, a white, smooth but somehow also blocky, flying brick of an aircraft that is a far cry from the sleek and compact design of modern drones. Technology advanced rapidly, and Mr. Durscher constantly found new use case scenarios for drones. Working closely with firefighters, law enforcement, and EMS, he became the Senior Director of Public Safety Integration at DJI. He listened to the lessons learned and the "man, I sure wish our drone could do this" requests from the agencies, and brought these back to the DJI engineering teams to help make decisions on hardware and software improvements. One of the most influential DJI drone designs, the Mavic 2 Enterprise, owes much of its development to Romeo. This drone came equipped with a thermal imaging sensor and the ability to connect loudspeakers and spotlights, all crucial tools in a first responder's chest. These aerial capabilities had been reserved for manned helicopters up until this point, and now they could be held in the palm of a hand. Mr. Durscher wasn't afraid to work in the field either. In November of 2018, the Camp Fire broke out in Butte County, California. Within 12 hours, the wildfire burned 55,000 acres, 18,804 structures, and claimed the lives of 85 people. Mr. Durscher and DJI responded as soon as they could, and working together with multiple agencies began the most ambitious drone mapping project to date. Flying grid missions over the devastation, they put together high-resolution maps to provide key information to first responders, urban planners, and survivors of the fire. Here's where I feel the need to interject a personal note, and why the story of this man means so much to me personally. The Camp Fire remains to this date one of the most stressful moments of my entire life, and I wasn't even in the country at the time. My wife and I were in New Zealand celebrating our honeymoon when the Camp Fire broke out, we woke up in our beach house to many missed phone calls and many missed texts from friends, family, and the guys that I serve with in the fire service, letting me know that there was a huge fire in Butte County. The town of Paradise was home to many of my friends and family, and is located a relatively short distance away from my own hometown, even though we're completely separated by a valley. A lot of the phone calls and texts that I woke up to were from friends that were fleeing, or, for instance, my own mother letting me know that there was a very good chance that my cousin and uncle were dead. I spent hours pacing the floor trying to find an international flight home, especially because many of my brothers in my own home fire department were flooring it as fast as they could over to the other side of the valley to assist with firefighting operations. Many of my friends in the EMS system were letting me know that they were evacuating patients even as they had to run in and out of fire. Many of my law enforcement friends and search and rescue friends were there assisting with people fleeing the fire, trying to evacuate the entire town. When we finally got home, the very next day, I was in one of our utility vehicles at the fire department responding to the fire itself, bringing some very much needed gear to our guys that had essentially run out the door as fast as they could to get on an engine and go help. I went to the scene of the devastation myself and assisted them with some operations for quite some time and took in everything with my own eyes. It was one of the most humbling experiences of my entire life. I shared a story not trying to get any accolades for myself, because I still feel an incredible amount of guilt for being out of the country when it happened, but to hammer home just how much everything Romeo Durscher and especially DJI, how much it means to me for what they did with helping with these operations in this town that was completely devastated. Having seen how much of a monumental task that this fire was when it came to mapping out everything, and now years past this incident where drone mapping is one of the things I do on a at least weekly basis, it seems, I can promise you that the efforts of Mr. Durscher and DJI to assist with mapping out this massive devastation were nothing short of monumental. And I absolutely think that Mr. Durscher deserves to be remembered as a hero for what he did here. Mr. Durscher and DJI flew multiple grid missions over the devastation, gaining high-resolution maps to assist. Romeo downplayed his own role in the mission, giving all credit to everyone else involved, and even the drone technology itself. But he played a major linchpin part in his organization and implementation. Mr. Durscher left DJI in December of 2020 and joined Auterion as their Senior Vice President of Strategy. He worked tirelessly on open source projects and robotics integration technologies. He also worked with FlyMotion, UTAC, and even the Pasco Sheriff's Office in Florida. He was a highly requested speaker at conferences, conventions, and industry seminars. He was known for being able to eloquently explain ideas and concepts in a way people could easily understand. Among the many accolades he humbly accepted, one stood out amongst the rest. In December of 2024, the Law Enforcement Drone Association honored Mr. Durscher with its first ever Lifetime Achievement Award. Unfortunately, that year was also when Mr. Durscher shared the news that he had been diagnosed with a terminal cancer that would claim his life in March of 2025. He set up a website to share his final message on a life well lived. Quote, "I suppose we all have wondered how we would react and what we would do if ever confronted with this sort of challenge. I'm hoping that by sharing my own journey, I can help others understand and appreciate how important it is to live passionately and freely for the moment. Indeed, now so many of even the smallest of incidents and minor pleasures throughout my life come back to me as welcome memories and warm reminders of all the wonderful lives that have intersected with my own. I've been blessed with so many friends who have cherished me and helped me attain so many goals. I believe and hope I can convince you that pursuing your dreams should be a constant motivation throughout your life. That pursuit and the experiences you have and people you meet in the process
will give you great gifts that are more precious than any material gains. Of all the things in this world that I'm thankful for, my friendships are at the very top of the list. Any measure of good I've accomplished in this life has been the result of team efforts and shared goals. That, more than anything, gives me joy and a sense of purpose. In these recent months, the support and encouragement I've received from you all has been overwhelming and humbling. Thank you for walking with me on this final journey.
I hope when my time comes, I hope I can face the end with as much grace and humility as Mr. Durscher. I only wish I could have met this great man before his passing, or at least known about him. But until that time comes, I will strive to honor his memory and keep advancing the technology and the career field that we are both a part of. Thank you for everything you've done for us, Romeo. Rest easy. We have the watch.